boy, it's already ready to go. Okay, so we are going to start this. Okay, you can't see me. So I'm sitting on the floor. We're going to start with listening to a part of our book that we started a few weeks ago, because before each Zoom and training, we're going to listen to a portion of this book so that we can get it finished. The book's called Find Your Why, if you're new. We just literally barely started, so you didn't miss a whole lot. So I'm going to start it real quick. See.
We travel a lot for business, but sometimes our business just won't wait. It climbs right onto the plane and finds us. That's what happened to Peter one day on a flight from Miami to St. Louis. Here's the story as Peter tells it. I was exhausted. All I wanted to do was get to where I was going. Another flight, another stranger to sit next to. I prayed to the airline gods for a seatmate who wouldn't invade my space physically or verbally. I just wanted to be left alone. But as it turned out, my neighbor was going to be one of those people, and this was going to be one of those flights. I was settling in for the 4-hour trip when Steve sat down and introduced himself. After some chit-chat, he started telling me what he does for a living. If you've been in this situation, you already know that Steve was not, say, a bodyguard for Hollywood stars, eager to share behind-the-scenes stories about their love lives and recreational drug use. No salacious stories or gossip to entertain me for the flight. Nope. For 23 years, Steve had been selling steel. Yep, steel. Riveting. It turns out, however, the steel Steve sells is not just the run-of-the-mill variety. His company, based in Sweden, produces a particularly pure form of steel that enables machines to run more efficiently because their parts, for example, a car's transmission, are lighter. An engineer himself, Steve could personally attest to his product's superiority over other options on the market. As he wrapped up, Steve looked at me expectantly, obviously longing for a follow-up question that would let him talk more about steel. Trouble was, I didn't care much what Steve did. It's not that I'm aloof or unsociable or only interested in gossip. I'm none of the above. What draws me in is not what people do for a living, but why they do it. So instead of asking Steve how much his steel costs and who his best clients are, I turned to him and said, "So what?" Well, Steve faltered, not understanding the question. So I put it another way. I get that the steel you sell is very pure. I get that it allows for lighter components, which makes machines more efficient. But so what? Steve stammered a bit more, then blurted out, "Well, not so much material needs to be used." Getting closer, I pushed a little more. And what difference does that make? For a moment, Steve looked as if he might crumble. All he'd wanted was to make small talk. Now he was stuck with my weird questions for the next 3 hours. The tables had turned. But we kept talking, and I helped him find his answers. As it turns out, such pure steel means that parts built with less material still remain strong. Using less material means needing to do less smelting, the process of extracting metal from its ore. So less energy is used in the steel production process, and thus less pollution is created. And when the steel is used to produce a machine such as a car, those advantages are repeated. The car is lighter, so it uses less fuel and therefore produces less pollution. And as if that weren't enough, pure steel is easier to recycle than other varieties. This was actually interesting, but we still hadn't gotten to why Steve was so enthusiastic about his job. Saving fuel and reducing pollution is great, I said, but there must be something more to this business that's kept you going for 23 years. That's a long time to do something and still be passionate about it. There must be something more at stake, something you truly believe in, I prodded him. And then it happened. For the first time in our conversation, I saw Steve's eyes light up, and his feelings poured out. Steve is committed to keeping the planet healthy for his children and future generations. And one way to do that is to be more responsible in the way we use our planet's rich resources. For all the time he'd been talking to me about steel, he never once mentioned this, yet it was the very thing that inspired him to start telling a stranger on a plane all about pure steel. I asked Steve for permission to rephrase his sales pitch. In simple terms, I began, speaking as if I were Steve. I believe in using natural resources for the benefit of humankind. And I also believe that we should do so responsibly, leaving the planet safe and healthy for our children. This is what led me to become an engineer and to join my current organization. Our company, based in Sweden, a country committed to sustainability, has developed a way to help engineers create lighter, more efficient, greener products. And our particular path to sustainability happens to be lightweight steel. Thank you, Steve said, beaming. You've just put into words the reason I love what I do. Simply by starting my version of the pitch with why he loves his job, I help Steve see that it's not what he does that has kept him fulfilled for more than 2 decades. What inspires him is why he does it. By connecting his work to his sense of purpose, Steve had discovered his why. Every one of us has a why, a deep-seated purpose, cause, or belief that is the source of our passion and inspiration. You may not yet know what yours is or how to express it in words, but we guarantee you have one. If you'd like to understand your why and would rather not wait until Peter sits next to you on a flight, this book can help. We believe that all of us deserve to live as Steve does, waking up inspired to go to work and coming home at the end of the day feeling inspired by the work we do. Fulfillment isn't another word for happiness. All kinds of things make us happy at work. Hitting a goal, getting a promotion, landing a new client, completing a project, the list goes on. But happiness is temporary. The feeling doesn't last. Nobody walks around energized by the memory of a goal hit 12 months ago. That intensity passes with time. Fulfillment is deeper. Fulfillment lasts. The difference between happiness and fulfillment is the difference between liking something and loving something. We don't necessarily like our kids all the time, for example, but we do love them all the time. We don't necessarily find happiness in our jobs every day, but we can feel fulfilled by our work every day if it makes us feel part of something bigger than ourselves. That's the reason we can feel unfulfilled, even if we're successful by standard measures like compensation and status. Fulfillment comes when our job connects directly to our why. Steve, our man of steel, finds happiness when he closes a deal, but finds fulfillment knowing that he is contributing to a higher cause with larger implications. Happiness comes from what we do. Fulfillment comes from why we do it. Steve is a lucky man. Though he couldn't articulate his why until he met and talked with Peter, he had been living his why for decades, and as a result felt inspired and fulfilled. But what if the company in Sweden had been acquired by a larger company that downsized Steve? What if he'd had to look for a new job without knowing his why? Given his decades of experience, he'd most likely have tried for another job selling steel. But if the new company wasn't dedicated to sustainability, his sense of purpose would have vanished, along with his enthusiasm when talking to strangers on planes. And he might never have connected the pieces and seen that his passion for his work actually had nothing to do with steel in the first place. If we want to feel an undying passion for our work, if we want to feel we are contributing to something bigger than ourselves, we all need to know our why. And that's the reason we wrote this book. Find Your Why is a distillation of what our team has learned from over 25 years of collective experience conducting why discoveries. We have helped all kinds of people, including entrepreneurs, individual employees, small businesses, and teams within large businesses to find their why. This book was designed to help you find yours. Here is an outline of the 7 chapters. The first two contain information that's fundamental to finding your why, and we urge everyone to review them. After that, you can move on to either Chapter 3 or Chapter 4, depending on whether you're discovering your why as an individual or as a team or group member. Finally, we recommend that all listeners review Chapters 5, 6, and 7. At the end of the book, we offer assorted bits of additional information that may help you as questions arise. Chapter 1 is a highly condensed recap of Start With Why, the book written by Simon Sinek, who popularized the concept of why. This section discusses some of the benefits of knowing your why. Chapter 2 provides an overview of the process of discovering your why. It's important to listen to this, whether you're doing this on your own or with a team. Chapter 3 is the step-by-step process for individuals, entrepreneurs, or employees to find their personal why. If you are using this book to help your team or organization find its why, though not imperative, completing this section and learning your own why can help you lead your group through the discovery process. Chapter 4 explains what you need to do to prepare for a why discovery for a team, organization, or any tribe in which people are brought together to work. Chapter 5 picks up where Chapter 4 leaves off and explains how to take a tribe through the why discovery process. The why is the destination, and hows are the route we take to get there. Chapter 6 is all about the hows, the actions we take to bring our why to life. Chapter 7 explains how to share your why with others, and how to begin to live your why and put it into practice. The appendices provide answers to the questions we receive most often in our workshops, and cheat sheets for when you or another facilitator are conducting the workshops. One of the hardest things to predict about finding your why is how long it will take. In Chapters 3 through 5, we outline the process for individuals and tribes, and estimate, based on our experience, approximately how much time each step will take. But these numbers are only averages. For some, the process goes more quickly, and for others, more slowly. There is no right amount of time. What's important is to stick with each section or step until you feel confident about moving on to the next one. To be honest, knowing you're about to start Chapter 1, we feel a little jealous. We love helping people find their why. For us, Peter and David, we wish we could be there personally with each one of you. But our vision is to bring the why to life for as many people as possible. And so we will be your virtual guides as you set off on your adventure. Inspire on.
Okay, I gotta figure out how to. I'm trying to. Will you bring me that? I'm trying to figure out how to set this so that. Well, I gotta have it. That should be fine. And then. I'll stay right here for a minute. This will work because I can't stand it. It's too low. Okay, so I'm pretty excited about that book. Yeah, I really like it. We'll start Chapter 1 tomorrow at our Saturday morning Zoom. Pretty excited about that too. So make sure you're on tomorrow morning so that you can start Chapter 1 with us because it'll be really good. The reason we chose this book is because to do this business and to be successful, everyone needs to know their why so that you know, basically why you're doing it. Because if you don't know why you're doing it, then you're really not going to go anywhere. But right now, I'm going to turn the time over to Belle. Yay. She has a few topics that she wanted to go over with you all, and then it'll come back to me in a little bit.
Okay. So we've gone over some of these things before, but I thought we'd touch up on one or two again. And yeah, get on the same page about a couple things. So number one, I have notes. I can't remember like Taylor does. So I have my notes with me, so just ignore this. So the huge no-no in MLMs, such as It Works, is procrastination. So for instance, it's not like I just barely came up with what I was going to talk about last night, like at 11 or anything. It's not like I had a month or anything. So I think that that's something that everyone kind of struggles with. I know I have always had a hard time with that. And the reason we do that, last night I decided to go on YouTube and find out why people do that. Why is that a problem? Why is that something that we struggle with? And what I saw is that we tend to assume that we will have time to do something later, so we put it off, but later comes and goes, and life happens, and then we never get around to it. So I think what's been helping me is putting an alarm clock on my phone every single day, like to do self-development, to follow up, to message people, to post. And that's kind of helped me to not just say, oh, I'll do it later. It kind of helps keep me accountable. So when you find yourself having free time, don't be like, oh, I'll do it later. You take a picture, you post, you message, you follow up, you add people, etc. Then the other thing I wanted to talk about is branding yourself and also telling your story, because it goes hand in hand. So one of my friends recently told me that she felt like she was at a disadvantage because she wasn't a mom yet. So she felt like me posting about my boys and being a mom was kind of helping me in the business, which I agree it does. But that's because I'm friends with lots of other moms, so we relate about that. For her, she's had lots of health problems. And so I was like, Taylor, she has health problems, and she joins groups with, what's the name again? Ulcerative colitis. Ulcerative colitis. So she joins groups with people, and she's able to relate with them about that. So you can use whatever situation or story that you have, your life experience, and that can help you in the business, because you're able to find that common ground with people and have that in common with them right off the bat. You don't have to talk about the business, just have that in common, add them, get to know them, build that relationship. So know your story, brand yourself, and don't be afraid to tell, don't be afraid to tell things you've gone through, and yeah, your story. So, okay, the other thing is I've been dieting. I've been trying to lose weight and stuff. So that's what made me think of this part. So imagine you're trying to change your life and you're trying to lose weight, and you're on this treadmill and you're going slow and you're not seeing much weight coming off, and you start to get frustrated because maybe someone else is, and you're comparing yourself. But you're kind of refusing to increase your speed. You're comparing yourself, but you're not going the same speed as, let's say, somebody else is. Other people can encourage you, but nobody can increase the speed for you. So it's kind of like, I know Taylor's going to talk about self-development in a little bit, but I think the reason why self-development is so important is because no one can push that button for you. No one can help you go faster. No one can do it for you. You just have to want it yourself, and you have to push yourself. So that goes hand in hand with staying motivated. It's important because it keeps you going and makes you want to improve. If you're just kind of complacent with where you're at, if you're just content, you're not going to, want to change. You're not going to push yourself. So that's why personal development is super important. If what you're doing isn't working, it's time to step it up, throw a rap party, blitz, go live, do self-development. I really touched on that, didn't I? Talked about it like 5 times. I am doing like a vendor event soon, and I'm going to have a booth, and I'm pretty nervous for that, but I want to get out there and try. I'm not great at blitzing, so I want to go out there and get more experience doing that. So, yeah, I think this is my first time, guys. I was super nervous. Thanks. But I think that's all I have. You're funny. That's it. You're cute about it. You're not like that awkward. No, I'm awkward. No. You know what you're doing.
I'm the awkward person. Okay, so now I'm gonna I'm gonna do a slide. I have a slideshow. It's only 8 slides, so it's pretty short. So I'm gonna hurry and set it up to share my screen real fast. Okay. Okay, whoops. Oh. Okay. Okay, so my biggest topic that I really wanted to go over was personal development because it is one of the most important things, I think, when you own a business. So we're going to go over that. I basically read off the slides. You read off your notes, I read off my slides. Okay, so what is personal development? The definition of personal development is also known as self-development or personal growth. It involves the growth and enhancement of all aspects of the person, the feelings the person has about himself or herself, and their effectiveness in living. It includes the development of positive life skills and the development of a realistic and healthy self-esteem. Basically, what that is saying is when you do your personal development, it strengthens. Yeah, it's how you see yourself. It strengthens your self-esteem because when I first started a business, I was like, me. I'm still awkward, but I was even more awkward and hated doing anything. Like I hated talking to people. I hated talking to people. I used to do a lot of rap parties when I first started, and so I hated doing those. I made myself do them. And personal development has really helped me a lot because it's just helped me kind of. I do talk really fast.
Oh, that's okay. I do too.
Okay, so anyways, but yeah, it just helps you kind of get past that mental block that you have about yourself, and it just this next slide kind of goes over it a little bit more. Why is personal development critical to success? It stretches your mind. So stretching your mind, developing good thinking habits, good study habits, pursuing ideas, and trying to find ways to apply them is super important. Your willingness to tackle subjects that are difficult and that most people have decided to just let slide gives you an extraordinary edge. Don't be afraid to tackle the heavyweight stuff. It may be a lot easier than you think once you get started. Basically, to me, that means going live, pushing yourself. I consider when you push yourself, I feel like that's kind of a form of personal development in a way. Really, when you think personal development, people think of like reading books and things like that. But to me, anything that really gives you that opportunity to really stretch yourself is a form of personal development. Because it forces you to grow. Like you're caring more about your growth and your comfort. Exactly. And every single time I get ready to do a live, I'm like, okay, I don't want to do it. And I like push cancel like a million times. I'm like, okay, I just gotta do it. And they get easier each time you do them. Same with trainings. I used to be really nervous to do trainings, and I pushed myself to do that. This last month, I asked Belle to help me, and she's going to keep on helping me. Oh, gosh. I'm just kidding. I know it'll get better with time. So, yeah, it's a really important part is just stretching yourself just to overcome those obstacles. Let's see. Next one. This is continuing on. Often due to the lack of self-esteem, people convince themselves that they do not deserve good things in life, and then that makes them decrease their own expectations. By doing personal development, it'll help you overcome those self-esteem issues and make you really tackle whatever life throws at you. So basically, just force yourself to do it. I don't know. Look at the kitty. I know. It's like one of my favorite, metaphor pictures. Yeah. Like that's exactly kind of, to me, that's like personal development. Like in picture. Yeah. But yeah, so hopefully this is making sense to everybody. Totally. Okay. When I was making it, I literally made this PowerPoint at like midnight last night. So it's fine. So I was tired, but hopefully it makes sense. Okay. Ways to do personal development. I left off stretching yourself, but I kind of went over that. Finding videos on YouTube. I do this a lot. I'll get on YouTube pretty much every single day, and I'll just search like motivational videos. You search motivational videos, there's like thousands. And seriously, just start with the top one and just go down and watch them all. They're all amazing. Anywhere from like 3 minutes to like 45 minutes, there's videos. So however much time you have, the videos really help. Just because kind of get to hear other people's perspectives. It's kind of crazy how many like celebrities and stuff do personal development daily. Like Will Smith and Michael Jordan, they're really big into personal development, and they do a lot of videos. So it's kind of cool. Personal development books, just like the one where we listened to the beginning of the training, that would be a personal development book. Reading motivational quotes. If you go to Pinterest, if you notice, every morning I post a motivational quote that kind of puts me, it forces me to like look up stuff. I look up that up like right before I post it, and it kind of puts me in a good mindset. Creating a dream board, I don't know, to me that's kind of a form of personal development. Just finding things that, I don't know.
Inspire you.
Yeah, inspire you.
Like your why, your goals.
And so it kind of forces you to just kind of, search on the computer, whatever, magazines, and find things that would inspire you and kind of that you're looking forward to. To me, that's personal development. And also affirmations. Positive affirmations. I'll go over some more of those on one of the next slides, go over that a little more in detail. Okay, well, this one, actually. So positive affirmations, the key is repetition. So you flood your brain with the positive thought. When practicing affirmations, choose 2 or 3 to focus on for several weeks. Say the affirmation out loud in a confident voice several times a day and before you go to bed. Those quotes are perfect examples of positive affirmation. I am worthy of my dreams. I'm attracting powerful, positive, and healthy people into my life. Another one I like to do is I look at myself in the mirror when I do affirmations, because you're affirming it to yourself. Is that kind of how I look at it? So I always look at myself in the mirror. One of them I do is I am attracting, it's kind of like that, but it's like, what do you want in a team member kind of a thing? Like, who would you like? Like, you can have ones that are like that, or I am, like, my inbox is flooded with messages of people wanting to order. Like, that is a good one that you can do. When I was going Presidential Diamond last year, I constantly recited, I am Presidential Diamond. I couldn't even tell you how many times. I had it written down everywhere where I could see it. And I constantly repeated that to myself. So some people think positive affirmations are crazy.
I didn't even know that I did one until you said that, and all of a sudden registered in my head. I was just writing it down like before I went and sat there.
Mm-hmm.
And when I first started working out, when I first started It Works, when I was running, and I really did not want to be running, I would say, I'm strong, I'm able, I'm willing. And then, like, that's what I was just writing down. And those 3 things are just something, like, whether I'm working out or in my head, I guess that I have done that ever since. And I didn't realize that until I saw that.
Yeah, like it's really is a form of law of attraction. If you guys believe in the law of attraction, which I do completely, that's basically what affirmations are, is the law of attraction. If you don't know what that is, read The Secret. Read The Secret or watch it on Netflix. It's amazing. It goes over all that. It's like the best book or movie if you watch it on Netflix. Okay, next slide, which we're almost done with my slides, and then we'll just kind of chat about a few more things. Okay, book ideas. These are a few books that I have listened to or am listening to on Audible. I don't ever read books. I listen to them on Audible because you can actually do clippings of them too if you want to remember something. Girl Code, that's the one I'm reading right now. It's Unlocking the Secrets to Success, Sanity, and Happiness for the Female Entrepreneur. It is a freaking amazing book. I just didn't want to listen to that with the team because we do have a few men on our team, and it definitely is geared towards women, 100%. So it's a really good book. Jack Canfield, The Success Principles, How to Get from Where You Are to Where You Want to Be. It's an extremely long book, but it's really good. He is the co-creator of Chicken Soup for the Soul. I don't know if you guys ever, I had the Chicken Soup for the Teenage Soul, but yeah, he was the co-author, co-creator of those books. And that book is really, really awesome. Like I said, it's pretty long compared to some of the other ones, but it's worth it. Chase the Lion, If Your Dream Doesn't Scare You, It's Too Small. I'm also listening to that one right now too. It's super amazing. We were going to listen to that one as the team, but it's kind of long. It's like 8 hours.
It's a bunch of stories of like different people.
Yeah, it's just kind of a more difficult one to listen to as a team. It's kind of a self-read. And then You Are a Badass, How to Stop Doubting Your Greatness and Start Living an Awesome Life. Everyone should read that book. It's shorter. Everyone should just read that book. I don't care who you are. You just need to read it. there is a lot of language in it, I guess. So if that offends you, I guess don't read it. But
you can tell by the title.
You know,
like you know what you're getting.
Yeah. So, but it's worth it. That book is really good. So those are a few. I don't know, Belle. Do you have any? Is there any other books that you've read?
No, I
read
still
or those
want
ones?
to chase the line because it is long chapters.
Mm-hmm.
But I absolutely love that.
But yeah,
it's helped me a lot.
I do suggest, we are listening to that book as a team, but I do suggest everyone kind of getting a book for themselves because it's just good. I mean, we only listen to the book once a week.
I've heard one good one is How to Win Friends and Influence People.
I haven't even heard that one.
So my dad keeps telling me to read it.
If you like go on Google and type in personal development books, there's like a trillion. Okay, next. Okay, this is the last slide, and this is literally how I feel about it. You need to be doing it every single day. It says most people start each day with personal development to really get them motivated and fired up for the day. I personally start each day by watching a motivational video on YouTube, and then I also search my quotes on Pinterest. And then at night I listen to my book. I used to listen to my book in the morning, but I'm not a morning person, so I sleep every ounce I can before Creed wakes me up. And then of course he doesn't let me listen to my book. So after he goes to bed, I listen to a chapter of my book. To me, personal development is not optional. I have a habit of getting into a terrible mindset, and on the days I don't do my personal development, I can really tell, and then I'm kicking myself for doing it. You can ask my husband. I really do. I get into really bad funks if I don't do it. I mean, it's just kind of like the quote says, because to me, it's not optional. If the dream is free, the hustle is sold separately. You've got to do something to grow your mind, or your business isn't going to grow along with it. So I tell people, I know there's been a few times, I'm going to hurry and end my screen share so that you guys, I don't know if you guys can see me when I have my screen share. Let's see. Okay, so I know there's been a few times in the chat where I've asked people what they've done for personal development that day, and I really need to slow my talking down.
No.
I always talk fast.
That's because you're excited.
And some people I've noticed will say like, oh, I watched my kids do this, or I hung out with my kids. I get that your kids inspire you, but it's not personal development. I'm just going to say that now for future reference. If I ask you what you did for personal development, hanging out with your kids is not personal development. They are great. They are your why. They are what keeps you going. But personal development is something you're working on with yourself, by yourself, or with your team, like what we do on the weekends, like on Saturdays and at team trainings. So find a book that you want to listen to. Watch a video every day. You really only need to spend like 5 or 10 minutes, and that's it. So it really doesn't take that much time. I mean, if you want to, you can wake up a few minutes before your kids do and do it, or like me, the video, I usually watch it like Creed's eating breakfast. I throw it on, watch it. That's when I do it. And then I read my book at night, like I said.
Sometimes I put a video on, like when I'm in the shower.
See, that works. That works great too. And like
sometimes I don't always have time, but everyone has to shower.
It's true. Yeah.
So I just put it on, when you're in the shower.
So yeah, but to me, that's the biggest thing I wanted to go over this month, is just because I feel like a lot of people don't do it, and then they kind of get into a bad mindset, like my business isn't working, why isn't it working? And it's like, because you're putting those negative thoughts into your head, and when you do that, it projects out into the universe, and then that's what you get. You don't get anything positive. Again, that's law of attraction. But I feel like they go hand in hand. I need a drink. Hold on a second. I'm talking too fast. But yeah, so just try. I mean, if you're not doing it now, start tomorrow morning. Mm-hmm. And just do something. Like I said, even if it's scrolling through Pinterest, like if that's all the time you have one day, scroll through Pinterest, look at good quotes, post a quote, share a quote with the team. Anything like that is great. I don't know. Is there anything else you wanted to add?
I think that's it. I would definitely like to see them start doing some personal development and hearing and seeing like what they're doing, like sharing it in the group chat.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea. Like in the chat, like if you, like you don't have to do it every single day, but say you watched a really good video that you thought was super awesome, like share it. Mm-hmm. Like everyone, I like to watch multiple videos a day. Like just share it, we'll watch it. If you find a quote, I know a lot of you guys share quotes, which is great too. If you are reading a book and there's like a, what is it called? A certain quote or whatever that you like in the book, share it with the team as well. Like it could benefit all of us. If it's benefiting you, it could benefit someone else. So,
she's working hard.
My giant dream that's bigger than my head. I am going to open it up. I don't know. Let's see. It's like, what is that? That's her car. That's Shantae's car. I couldn't figure out what that was. Okay, sorry. I just want to open it up to kind of, I'm gonna, let's see, I guess I'll try to decide if I should just unmute everybody.
Yeah.
I'm unmuting everybody, just letting you all know. I would just like some, if there's any feedback that you guys want to add in about tonight's training, or if there's like any personal development ideas you want to share, anything, go for it. I would love to hear from some of you. I keep looking at my TV because that's where everyone's at. Oh. It's up on the screen. Nobody? Nobody at all. Satara, do you have anything you want to share?
You can't put me on the spot like that.
Shaylee! Go for it, Shaylee. I'm sure you want to share something.
Yes, honey. Hold on. You can't put me on the spot. Oh, look at you. I have like all the kids.
Oh my gosh, how cute.
Do you have all of them?
Yeah, all 5. Well, should I say all 12?
All 12. All 5. Yeah.
Like there's Tiana. Tiana, say hi. Then my daughter's grounded.
Yeah, Jake's been having to distract Creed the whole time. But
yeah.
Even when I raise her eyes.
Well, so there's nothing anybody wants to share. If not, then we can go ahead and end it. I just wanted to make sure no one wanted to add anything before we stopped. Or if you have any questions in part, like not necessarily to, doesn't have to be like specific to the training. Any questions at all? Nope.
Come to your room.
Okay, well, then I'm gonna stop the recording.